Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam. I welcome you all with my love and respects. From today, in morning Satsang, I am starting Patanjali Yoga Sutras. I am not ending Siddha tradition series, please understand. Because I suddenly realized Siddhas have already become my being, bone marrow, blood. So on any subject I talk, they are going to come out automatically. So I don't need to spend separate time and title for Siddha tradition. Of course, Patanjali is one of the great Siddha. So I decided the Patanjali Yoga Sutras is a well-known book, scripture, all over the world. By sharing my experiences on this truth, lot more seekers will be helped. So, I'll start expressing my experiences on Patanjali Yoga Sutras, of course, with the expression of Siddhas. Today's subject is beware and be aware of ignorance. Not just beware, be aware. See, beware of ignorance is an intellectual waking up. Be aware of ignorance is a technique to go beyond ignorance. Technical knowledge and technique, both I am trying to convey just with this one topic. Beware of ignorance is a technical knowledge. Be aware of ignorance, technique to go beyond ignorance. Beware and be aware, both needs to be experienced. How to experience both the space? Let's see how Patanjali is guiding us. The second chapter, 24th verse. Tasya hetur avidya. The translation, Swami Vivekananda translates this sutras, ignorance is its cause. Prabhavananda translates as, this identification is caused by ignorance. Dvivedi translates as, its cause is ignorance. Swami Satchidananda translates as, the cause of this union is ignorance. The second chapter, 24th sutra, as continuous, I don't know the number, but second chapter, 24th sutra. Tasya hetur avidya. The cause of unawareness of Purusha, the consciousness about its real nature, why it gets mixed with the matter, why it feels itself confused or identified with the matter is ignorance. I'll try to define ignorance. Intellectual perversion is ignorance. Any idea which works in you and creates restful awareness is Shastra, means knowledge, spiritual truth. Any idea which works in you and creates violence, anger, an unsettled end. See, all ideas lead you to a further and further and further. If it leads to somewhere, naturally it will end at one point. The point, see, for example, when you learn about acceptance, this idea will naturally start growing in you, how to accept, what is acceptance and all that. Finally, end of this thinking process, if you feel settled and the acceptance is happening in you, it has become knowledge in you. It is knowledge. But unfortunately, this has not settled in you. Like a end of this thinking process, you feel, no, I am not able to accept me, or I don't know what to do. It just ends abruptly without getting the completion or without reaching its logical conclusion, just by kind of a suffering. Violence, either violence towards you or others. That is what I call intellectual perversion. That is what is ignorance. To get out of ignorance, don't think ignorance is something like a black, dark ghost which will appear with two horns and big teeth. No. Don't be afraid. Any intellectual process which you started in you, which has not reached its logical conclusion, which has not been completed, is ignorance. About any truth, about life, sometime by mistake, you would have started thinking about what is life. That thought, that seeking, that intellectual understanding may not have reached its conclusion, a logical conclusion. Maybe somewhere it is stuck. Somewhere you stopped thinking. You stopped pushing it further. You stopped working on it further. That stopping is ignorance. Anything stopped in the mid is intellectual perversion, because it is not that you just stop and leave it. After stopping, the idea which you get during that stopping, based on that you plan strategies. Not taking your logical thinking, your intellectual thinking, to its logical conclusion, the end. When it has not reached its end, any idea you have is dangerous. Any strategy planning you do based on that is dangerous. Violence, arrogant, aggressive. Any logical, any process, try to take it to its logical end, to its logical conclusion. Have patience. Sometimes Things needs time. What about you guys? Even I am sitting here in this throne just because of my tremendous passions. Otherwise, the harassment and abusal done on me, just because of the tremendous passions, I could digest everything. Again, look at the human beings to teach and share what I wanted to share. I am not asking you to have the passions which I am having, at least 100th, at least 1%. Otherwise, if somebody else goes through the abuse and harassment which I went through, they will not even think of looking at the society again. I have nothing to gain. I have completed all my tasks. Whatever thinking process I started in my life, I have taken it to its logical conclusion, experienced it, realized it, digested it, I am living it. I have nothing left uncompleted. Whether it is intellectual thought, or desire, or fear, or anything I started in my life, I have reached its fulfillment. That is what I am saying. That liberated from prarabdha, completion of prarabdha, I have completed. I have nothing more to gain. But even with that, the tremendous patience. I got at least 2 questions yesterday in Inner Awakening. Swamiji, you said in your morning satsang, you completely lost respect for society. Then why so much compassion to teach? Understand? I have compassion to society because I want them to become what I want them to become. I lost respect because what they are. I have compassion because they can become what I want them to become. With so much of abuse and harassment, I have a tremendous passion to sit through and pass through and stand up again. Just because I have completed all my logical thoughts to its conclusion. Anything I started, I have taken it to its end. Understand? Always end is restful awareness, because the beginning is restful awareness. In the end, if there is no restful awareness, be very clear, you have not reached the end. You are stuck. You are standing, looking at a signboard, thinking as destination. No. Destination is always restful awareness. Just caught in between. See, even if you are caught in between and waiting for further progress, great, you are a seeker. Caught in between, but using that opinions, that conclusions to plan your life strategy. Then you lost the only hope which you had in your life. That's master. Ignorance is cause of identification of the consciousness into matter, means all confusions. Life is a simple management. If you know clearly about the strategy for your future, life just flows. I'm telling you, any thought you start, ensure that you reach its logical conclusion. Don't be stuck in the off. Stuck thought is equivalent to aborted child. if you bring an aborted child to the feet of the master, like how Parikshit was brought to Krishna, his touch, child can be revived. Possibility is there. Means your pervert intellect can reach its logical conclusion. Means restful awareness. But if you try to take that aborted child and throw it on the master, then you are in danger. You are in danger. It can never hit master. It will come back to you with more danger and power. Ignorance is the root cause of suffering. Take this as today's message. Any thought which you started is your child. The moment a thought happens in you, you are pregnant now. See that it grows, you cherish it, nourish it, and properly take it to a logical conclusion. Means grow it, deliver it. After delivering it, see that it grows and becomes a matured adult. Or stop the very the very conceiving process. You can do that by unclutching. Stop the very conceiving process by unclutching. If you already conceived, see that it is cherished, nourished, grows, delivered, and becomes a mature child. Don't have aborted child, or after giving birth, the immature, mentally retarded kids. It is dangerous for you. I have seen people make certain strategy about their life without plugging holes in their logical thinking and get caught, stuck. When they are stuck, they become angry towards anything which is shining. Understand? Their anger does not really reach a logical root. Whatever field they are in, whoever is in front, throw anger on them. Fire. Towards whom? That and all I don't know. Fire first. Later on we'll take care. We'll face it later on. Now fire. Arey, which direction? Who? What? Why? I am telling fire. Arey, the rifle is facing towards you. I am telling, why are you bothered about me, you and all that fire? That is what most of the time these intellectual perverts are doing. Then that fellow simply stuck, that's all, fire. And after falling on the ground, hey, you should have told this is what is going to happen. That is what I am telling for last half an hour. But after falling on the ground, what to do? Nothing can be done. Let me define the ignorance again. Any thought you conceived and not taking it to its logical conclusion is ignorance, and not only stopping in between, using the ideas and conclusions which you derived by stopping in between as a strategy for your future and making decisions out of those inconclusive conclusions. intellectual perverted conclusions. Using those things as a strategy for your future and making decisions about your future is the most dangerous thing in your life. Ignorance brings suffering. If you just leave it as ignorance, it will be an ignorance. If you start working based on the ignorance, those decisions, it becomes suffering. You are stuck with an intellectual perversion. Second, you are using that perverted conclusion as a strategy for your further actions. I just wanted to tell all these intellectual perverts, don't act based on the logic which has not reached its logical conclusion. Whenever a logic reaches its logical conclusion, it is restful awareness, non-violence, non-boiling, non-arrogance, nirmana, nirloka, nirlapta, niranjana, niramaya, and nirvigalpa. Of course, it should have become an Advaita. Intellectual perversion is the most dangerous poison, most dangerous suffering, the worst way of committing suicide. Please understand. Worst way of committing suicide is intellectual perversion. If this logical conclusion reaches its logical conclusion, it would have become Advaita. It would have become Nirvigalpa, Niranjana, Niramaya. The ignorance which you are carrying inside is not an ordinary poison. So, look into it very clearly. Work on it very strongly. Anything which is not complete in you, don't allow it. Either burn it by unclutching from it, or take it to its logical conclusion, which is restful awareness. Don't leave in between, because it can torture yourself, and that is the worst way of committing suicide. Understand? Ignorance is cause of identification of consciousness as matter, matter as consciousness, and responsible for all sufferings you have in your life. Let you all achieve, experience, live, express, and radiate the eternal bliss, Nithyananda.